Hi everyone, it's Kasia from Tarot Map, and this is another installment in my Inspired Tarot Map series. And this time I'm hosting an amazing artist, the creator of Dream Awake Tarot, dancer, singer, a creative, expressive person, Ashanti Gumbo. Hello, Ashanti.
Hey!
I'm so excited to have you on. I just found you online through Melissa Lucia, I think. She showed in one of her classes, I think, your deck. And I was just mesmerized. And I'm, considering myself to be an artist as well. I'm just always have my feelers out for creative people who I feel inspired by. So when I saw this, I was like, who is this person? She did this awesome deck with like hexagonal shape, and I love tarot. So I looked you up, and that's how we connected. And I would love to just pick your brains a little bit today, and for you to just show us a little bit about yourself and share your creative juice with people, because I think, we need more creative people in the world. And it's very happy to have you here. So, do you want to say something? Because I always talk a lot.
Thank you for bringing me out of my bubble and, constantly before we get into the whole thing of it all, I want to say thank you, because you reached out and you said, hey, I have this platform and I would like to share what you've created on it. And you did me a great favor, because one of the habits that I'm breaking is creating all these things and telling no one, like just, being out and about, and I'll share it. But social media marketing and being able to go online with what you have and share it and speak your voice and share your gifts is important. And you've helped me to do that. You've showed up in a really beautiful space in my life, and I'm really, really grateful for you, because not only is your presence affirming the work that I've already done, but you also push me to be able to have excellent customer service standards and step my business entrepreneurialism up, and to be able to communicate effectively to help those who may be interested in Dream Awake Tarot. So I wanted to personally say thank you for that.
Oh, that's really cool to hear, because I do it because I love it, but obviously, yes, I would love for all of us to be successful, abundant, and have lots of clients and customers and inspire people all over the place. And I think that the social media helps with it. And I'm really excited that, I can just write you and we can catch up, and it feels like we're having coffee in a place, like we have a play date, to
Yes.
talk cool stuff. So for that, I really value social media. And thank you for saying that. Really means a lot to me as well. So the first question, Ashanti, which usually starts the interviews, is about ancestry, because I love this subject. I think we always connected to our ancestors, personal and divine or human ancestors. So where do you come from? Can you tell us a little bit about your heritage?
Absolutely. I was raised in Georgia. How I was born in Baltimore, Maryland. And I was born to a nurse and a janitor. And they begot several children, one of which is my mother. And one of the things that I've been able to gain from, my bloodline and my heritage that I bring into my daily walking is integration. When we speak of ancestors, I like to bring up a particular story about my ancestry, because my a few greats grandmother was a slave, and she ended up marrying the master. And so for me, that speaks to taking a really shitty circumstance and finding the love in it and transcending it. And that is what Dream Awake Tarot is about. That's what my life is about. That is what this whole journey itself is about, because every day is not filled with gumdrops and roses and glitter and sparkles. Some days are, they test you, they challenge you, they push you. And I've been able to take Dream Awake Tarot and create through depression, create through working through the shadows of my life, working through molestation, working through rape, working through my boundaries being infringed upon until I saw the habit patterns that created those circumstances. So Dream Awake has been birthed through all of that and from all of that. And so, you know, more than anything, it's about Sankofa. So I'm so glad that you did bring up the ancestors, because they are the reason why I do what I do.
Yeah, that's awesome. And actually, for people who maybe don't know the Dream Awake Tarot, I'm just going to show. So Dream Awake, like as you dream awake, and it is in hexagonal shape. So it has this beautiful, how do I show it? Oh, like this. It has this beautiful bee-like hexagonal, beautiful shape. And we are going to talk about this shape in a sec. Why not now, actually, Ashanti? Why did you pick this shape? This particular shape for tarot deck is very unique, even though it's very kind of popular shape, but not in cards. And I've never seen a deck with this shape before. There are round decks, triangular, and so on, but I haven't seen a hexagonal one. So why this one?
So I chose hexagonal shapes. One, because I feel like it just was imparted on my spirit. I actually started out with a traditional 2.75 by 4.25 shape. And I worked with that deck personally for about maybe like a year. And then I got a message from spirit that said, okay, I'm going to need for you to change the shape. And I said, okay. And I moved on it. And so in moving on it, as I was creating these cards, because for me, I create backwards. So a lot of the things that I've created, I myself have to go and do. So it's not like, you know, I did this thing and now I'm creating this thing. It's like I create this thing and now I do this thing. And so as I was creating these cards, I was researching the hexagonal shapes. I was researching that it is commonly found in nature. It is a very it's a shape that maximizes space around it. It's also a shape that is commonly found in water. And one of the things that we absolutely have to embrace if we are going to continue as a species on this planet is the sustainability of fresh water. And in order to do that, we have to work with our own water molecules in our body. And what better way to work on your own molecules than to work with tarot daily, working through the parts and the pieces of all of us to harmonize and integrate all of these shapes into one honeycomb, into one beehive, to take it one card at a time, one day at a time, one step at a time, to be a better version of yourself. So it's really, you know, it goes all the way from the shape of it to self-responsibility and being able to work on yourself in tandem with the development of everyone else. And who better to teach you that than bees? Bees, they do their thing, they fly all over the place, they handle their business, but at the end of the day, they're doing everything that they do for the hive. They're doing everything that they do for the collective. So we work on our individual selves, but our individual selves are a part of something else because we're. And so that's what this shape is about. It's just returning to that oneness, returning to our ability to work in tandem and in harmony with nature, to perpetuate a different experience, because we're just here to experience. And if we can think differently and be innovative and be like water, we create a different experience versus complaining and being frustrated but not offering any solutions.
Yeah, and I have to say, through using this deck, it is a different experience. I can't stop like adding those cards. You know, I have like, okay, let's pull like 3 cards like I usually do. No, there are these holes I have to fill in now. And it's really, it's a playful experience and it always lightens me up. So in this kind of, on this level, I also wanted to thank you very much for creating it, because I think it's just such a childlike experience when you use this type of deck, or I don't know, this your deck, because I don't have any other, but this deck in this shape and the colors and the artwork, it really makes me it always makes me smile, always makes me happy, and I'm like, I need some inspiration. Let's go Dream Awake Tarot, you know. And this shape really, yeah, you just wanna feel it in. And what you said about integration, I feel also this shape goes with the integration as well, because yeah, it's just like you can really keep building it up effortlessly. It's not like it just comes out by itself. So it's really cool. Perfect choice for a shape, and so unique, which yeah, the shape was the first, I think, what really drew my attention when I saw it. I was like, oh, wow, that's strange. Then came the artwork and color, but the shape was the first kind of initial what drew my attention. So the next question which I had, and I kind of basing these questions also of, I did a review of your deck, which I'm going to link below. I link your website as well, but I've got a few questions from people who watched the review, and some of them, well, a lot of people were going, oh, why isn't it the whole deck? I'm going as well, oh, I would love it to be the whole deck. The deck has 36 cards. So you have used 22 major arcana archetypes of like tarot, regular tarot, and then there are some moon cards. And what are the rest of the cards? Like just a few. What does make the 36?
So it goes back to the consciousness of integration. So when you're working through your playbook, you're going to have these pages to go through and assign your major arcana. As you assign your major arcana, you're going to develop relationships with those major arcana cards. What integrates the oracle aspect is by giving purpose and meaning to those cards that you don't assign to a tarot archetype. And so you'll start to see how you might choose this, for example, as your hermit card, but this card doesn't necessarily have a assignment inside of the 22 major arcana archetypes. But you'll be able to still thread and create a story off of the two of them, because then you're activating your ability to be oracle-like. What I'm doing, what my intention is to get us out of, and I'm going to just be honest and real, and it is what it is. But I feel like tarot itself is it's very ancient, and it is beyond, an assignment to a particular group of people, and this is where it came from. I feel like it's just divine. And a part of what I feel like traditional tarot is Eurocentric. It doesn't make space for the diversity that's in the world. A page, a page of wands, a this of wands, it gives you these different structures of Eurocentric mindsets that do not resonate with a lot of the brown body people on this planet. And so what is important for me more than anything is to add diversity and inclusivity into tarot. And in order to do that, I have to break the different structures and mindsets that people have built up around tarot. That's why I keep it simple with the major arcanas, because those are major life lessons. That is what everybody is going to go through. That's just what it is. And the minor is just as important, but we're going to focus on the major because these are the major life principles that leak into all the other areas into your life. So if you can get the major stuff down, the minor stuff is a whole lot easier to digest.
Yeah, so, I agree, because they're very universal archetypes for everybody.
Yeah. So, bag those universal archetypes and then use your mind, your creativity, your words. Like, for example, a lot of the words that I use to name my major arcana cards are not English. They're Swahili. There's Hawaiian words that I utilize. And so I'm asking and inviting people to get outside of what you would normally resonate with tarot, and to give it new meaning, to give it new names, to give it new purpose, because then you get to expand your consciousness. As opposed to calling it something traditional, an English word that you may know, call it something else. Call it something that's unique to your ancestry. I love that you brought up ancestry in the beginning, because then it gives people an opportunity to say, well, okay, well, where are my people from and what are the words that they use? And so, like I said, being able to add diversity and inclusivity to tarot gives you a wider span and a wider way to view it. So as opposed to people asking, well, why only 36? Say, yes, 36 works for me, because then I can path work, because, tarot is more than just past, present, and future. Now, let me read, the cards for you. It says, I'm going to path work. I'm going to visualize. I'm going to see the tree of life. I'm going to see the cards in the tree of life. I'm going to understand how the tree of life resonates with my body. I'm going to sit in meditation with this card. I'm going to sleep with this card. I'm going to dream about this card. And I'm going to use these cards as tools and resources to become the best version of myself that I can be.
I wanted to ask you to maybe speak about this card, because before we played recording, I thought it was really interesting. Because we spoke with Ashanti, I was like, will you tell me if like this is the Empress? So right now you answered the question that actually we are to decide what the archetypes are. And of course, I wanted to maybe say also that some are easier than others. Like there is, for example, like this is very much a full card, right? Like a lot of people would maybe straight away associate it with it. But as we were talking, this can be also at some point a death card, because you're falling into the ravine and you don't know what's going to happen to you, or a tower card or something. So for people to decide, it's a great way. But yeah, tell us about this one.
So this one in particular is very resonant with me because I was expressing to you that I had went through a lot of cognitive dissonance around my sexuality. I was married and I had come into like the fullness of embracing myself. And I told my husband that I was interested in women. Not that I wanted to go and find one and wife one up, but that I just had an attraction to women. And he went ballistic on me and, quoted some passages from the Bible, all kind of stuff on me. And then I went through, having to, I don't want to say lose my father, but have him express that he wouldn't support me or, my decisions at all. And he removed himself from my life. And so there are so many things that have happened as a result of me embracing my sexuality, which resulted in a number of deaths. It was the death of relationships that I thought that would last forever. It was a death of ideals that I had in my head about what my perfect mate looks like, because my perfect mate, or not perfect, but my ideal mate showed up not in a male body. The person who is meant to love and support me and be there for me didn't come, 6 feet tall and da 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 da. It came in this person that loves me unconditionally and supports me through everything, and is, just a beautiful being, like a beautiful human. And so it took me out of this place of what I thought love was supposed to look like and all of these things. And so for me, this is my death card. And so again, it gives you this, Dream Away Tarot gives you an opportunity to give these cards your purpose and your meaning. For me, this is most definitely a death card, because I had to accept the death of what I thought I needed, and what I thought I wanted, and embrace that there is so much more if we allow it to be, if we allow love into our life in the way that we really need it and we really deserve it. We have to remove all of the different filters and blockages we have to that. So that's what this card is about. It's about relieving the cognitive dissonance I had around same-sex partnerships. It was also me embracing that I had to lose some people. So it has a lot of significant meaning for me. And then we're also very watery people. And so for me, the water aspect is the life-giving aspect of death. Water is about renewal. Exactly. So just as one transitions, something is renewed and replaced, because water, it fills up wherever it is. It changes forms and shapes. So, you'll see a lot of water in the deck, because I feel like it's just very important.
Yeah, so I found it like just interesting, because to me, before we spoke, this was definitely a lover's card. So, like what else can that be, right? So when you said death, I was like, really? Wow. But I totally understand. I just give maybe another example. I thought, like this could be a sun card, right? But this could be also a sun card. there's many more other sun cards, like there's feminine versions of sun cards as well, like, you know, but that could be also an Empress. So as you said, they're so multi-layered and beautiful. And I actually now am excited. It's quite fun that we spoke about it, because I had a few conversations. Somebody goes like, which one is the Hermit? I'm like, well, maybe this one, but hey, listen, this one also could be a Hermit, you know. So I was like, shit, like, how does it work? Like, she could be the world, but she could be the Empress, but she could be the strength, but she could be the moon. Like, it's just amazing. I love it. So this is fun. And yeah, as you mentioned in the playbook, if somebody has the playbook, you have this section on like kind of personalizing the deck. Okay, let's move on. What else do I have? Let's speak a little bit about embodiment, because you're also a dancer. You love dancing, you sing, you kind of use senses to express yourself a lot. And in the deck also we see a lot of naked bodies. And as I always mention in my reviews, I fucking hate when people go, oh, warning, there will be naked bodies. I'm like, what is that to warn about? Not like bombs falling. It's like, hello, there will be naked body. It's a big naked body. But that was important for you, right? Like this kind of embodiment as a part of the integration, I guess, as well, between like mind and heart and body. Can you speak up a little bit? Like, how do you see embodiment? How would you then use this, like, yeah, how the artwork maybe came to life to show the embodiment?
Absolutely. So I'll start off by saying I am a complete nudist. I wear clothes for other humans. Yeah. I just do the humans, to be honest with you. Like, I have on a top and panties. So
but yeah. Awesome. Next time my interview, I will be your style.
So, you know, I'm a nudist. I'll start there. And then one of the things that also came to me, like, I get a lot of aha moments in the bathtub. And one of the aha moments that I got while in the bathtub is that, you know, a part of, again, one of the biggest things I do, and that's for across the board with all works of art and tools that I create, is by dissolving the colonial consciousness. And a part of colonial consciousness that I feel like is very prevalent is the suppression of the form, whether it be feminine or masculine. If it's not in a sexual nature, then it shouldn't be shown. Like, if it's not, you know, those breasts are for milk, cover them up, you know, or, you know, so it's just so many things. Like, again, this is just as much as a tarot deck as it is a shadow integration tool to be able to work through shadows. Because what if a person who's not comfortable with their body pulls this, and then they have to go through a number of different physical sensations and emotions around pulling this card because they're not comfortable in their skin. And so this deck is also about creating, you know, a piece. Yes,
I love that. I love that.
With the sensuality, with our bodies, with our forms, with, you know, our sexuality. A lot of people have, you know, sexual blockages that they have to overcome, which is why I breathe sexuality into this deck, and sensuality into this deck, and color and life into this deck, because that's so much of what is missing in this kind of linear, structured, and formed experience, you know, where, you know, you only have 24 hours in a day, and you only, you know, da 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 da. And so it takes the presence, the out of it. And so through being able to reveal the forms and the shapes, it brings more appreciation to it, and appreciation and reverence for it. A part of the experience, and I'll come back to the book because the book is just so juicy with that, it helps with that, is that there are pages in here for you to explore yourself and explore your body and talk about your sexuality. There's a part in this book that says sex is. What is sex to you? What does it mean? What have you been taught? What do you need to unlearn and relearn in order to get to a place of, peace with your sexuality, and not feeling like, okay, for example, as a little girl, I would masturbate and then I would feel horrid afterwards. I was like, oh shit, I just did something wrong, 5 Hail Marys, all that, in order to be okay with masturbating, versus expressing it, letting it be what it is, and enjoying life. I actually would curse myself, and I had to break those curses and those chains that I put on myself. So, the sensuality and the sexuality of it puts us back in our bodies. It makes us comfortable to be able to have discussions about bodies, about sexuality, about sensuality, and about intimacy. Because we do need to be touching each other. Like right now, I would hug you. I would touch your cheeks. My hands are clean. I would touch your cheeks. I will hold you. I just feel like we have to return to something rather than learn something new. We have to return to the intimacy and the sensuality of it all, and to be able to have, an expanded view around sexuality. Sexuality doesn't necessarily mean sex. It means sensuality. So being able to embrace all of these things via artwork is my intention.
Yeah, that's really cool. And I feel like, most of us humans living in this colonial, we all, if you dark skinned or white skin, you live in the colonial systems. And I think, and if it comes to sexuality, we got so fucked up because of that. And, just the level of expression and connection to the body. It's basically how we treat nature, we treat our body like this. And then we get this other extreme side, which is this over sexualization, but then you lack intimacy. People feel so used and misused, and the body gets so depersonalized. It's the other side of the story, which is just so horrible to see, especially for young people, because they don't build the resilience. Kind of when you're 40 years old, you just don't pay so much attention to what somebody thinks about your body. But when you're 16, that's a totally different story. It's just this, and I feel like it's so important to speak about it, to speak about masturbation as a normal thing to do. Because I had similar experience to you. And to be honest, the first, I don't know if I should say, this maybe, I might just totally, but I will say it. But I was reading a book of Dennis, why is that? Sorry. I was reading a book of Dennis Diderot, and it was actually a book of masturbating nuns.
I've heard of that. I've actually heard of that.
Pretty shitty, I felt really, and I was in primary school or something. Sorry, something is going off with my light. I'm just trying to keep it on because it's really dark now. But yeah, the point being that why weren't we told that it's okay? Why do we, have to go through this shame and kind of thinking oh my God, what am I doing? Something is totally wrong with me. I shouldn't. And then turns out 10 years later or however that it's fun and it's okay and it's nothing wrong, and it's actually a good thing that you're doing it because you have a good connection to your body. So I might cut off this part of me talking about Dennis Diderot, but maybe I leave it. Shall I leave it? I'm wow, that might go public now. Asha.
Well, it's very healthy. I realized, how far off the spectrum we've gone from, just really being able to identify with our feminine archetypes. We've really gotten great at our masculine archetypes and going out into the world and getting things done, producing things, and industrial revolution and so on and so forth. But to get back into that space of juiciness, to be able to play and splash in the creek and go to the river and, sing and dance by the shores of the ocean for hours, not even thinking about a clock, to be able to make love all day without caring, about the next, meeting or phone call until the next day. To be able to indulge at midnight with, a pint of some delicious chocolate ice cream without feeling guilt and shame. you know, to be able to do just these sensuous things. And it's not about, you know, being addicted to the flesh and all of these things. It's about being able to celebrate the flesh and still be divinely connected to all that is. You know, that's the idea of it all.
Yeah, I totally agree. You put it very beautifully. So let's move on from our wonderful masturbation moment. um, yeah, maybe let's speak a little bit about the technical side, because we also mentioned it before we started recording, but maybe you can say to people, because we got some messages, you got some messages and I got some messages, how to buy a deck, if the deck can be bought only with the playbook. Maybe you can just explain to everybody how that works now. So if people wanted to, you know, purchase the deck, they know where, and I'm going to link it all below for you guys as well. But Ashanti can maybe just, yeah, maybe you can let us know what the options are.
Absolutely. So after you sent me that message that the being had sent about just how they were just generally confused, I went in on my website, and I'm going to do some more after we conclude this meeting. And I'm just going to go make shit simple and plain. You'll be able to get the deck by itself. It'll still come with the PDF playbook, because I really impress upon people to just use the freaking playbook. It's just, I went in, so this original version, that's the spiral version, is no more. I won't be doing the spiral ones anymore, but I'll be doing just a printed, a perfect bound book. And it's a lot more simpler than this one. Like, I went in and I looked at the holes that this one and the incongruencies that this one had, and I went in and created more simplicity, because the whole idea is to do less and be more. And so I'm going to go onto the website. You'll be able to get the deck individually without a book. You still have access to the PDF download if you want it. You'll be able to also get the deck and the playbook as a companion to each other, if that's what you desire. Or you can invest in the course, where we'll actually be path working together, in addition to a dance element that I'm bringing into it. Because Dream Awake, as much as it is for y'all, it's for me too. And I love to dance. And I feel like what is missing in a lot of what we do is that flavor and that movement. You know, a lot of the times we're at our desks and we're seated a lot. You know, you're sitting in your car, or you're sitting on the train, or you're just sitting a lot. And so the movement will include the embodiments that are already in the playbook, the yoga embodiments, but more in a dancey type of way, to allow you to truly embody it. Because when I first got, you know, the message that I am to create a tarot deck and I'm to integrate yoga, I didn't know that it was going to be something completely different than, you know, what it started out as. And so it's just kind of this ever evolving thing. And the dance element in the course, I feel like, is very necessary, because it allows you to get out of your head and into your body. Because when you're thinking about your movements, you're not thinking about your bills. You're not thinking about where you got to be at 5 o'clock. You're not thinking about, you know, is your lover satisfied? You're not thinking about none of that. You're thinking about your body, your movements, and, you know, am I on the beat? All of that is happening, and it takes you, it's a meditation.
Yeah.
So I'm just, like I said, I'm interested in just breaking all of the rules that people say that tarot has to be. And I'm going to, invite all the rule breakers with me.
Yeah, awesome. So can I ask, with the version, with the course, is this a course when you actually participate live as well, or is it like a recorded version, or people just, or do you have like a live online meeting, or is it, how does it work?
So the course, there's 2 versions. There's an evergreen. The evergreen is a part of everybody's investment. So if you invest in the playbook and the deck together, you'll get the evergreen version of it. So the evergreen version includes the text message reminders about what your daily flow is. It'll be, affirmations. You'll get the affirmation downloads. So it basically helps. It's like your accountability partner when you invest in the Evergreen course. Now you can get the course and coaching And the coaching will be inclusive of me actually joining in with you. We'll be doing meditation and yoga together. We'll be dancing together. We'll be meeting once every 7-day cycle. You get 4 private sessions with me every month. So you have this opportunity to connect with me more intimately.
Yeah.
So that I can assist with helping to birth your things, whatever that is. You want to write a book, or you want to perform, or you want to, travel the world for a year and all of that. We can work backwards and see, what are the steps that it takes in order to do that big thing. And we do it together. So, there's a number of choices that people can make, from getting the deck to going all the way out and getting coaching and regular readings.
Awesome. Okay, good. So I hope that will be easy now for everyone to follow up, and they can check, as I said, the website will be linked below. And would you like to maybe, so you're a yoga teacher as well, right?
Yes.
Do you run yoga classes for people, or is it more for yourself? Like how do you work with yoga?
Both. I have a regular practice of my own, and then I have a practice that I invite everybody to, and we work together for between 2 and 3 hours, just depending on the flow is. I can keep people longer, but I try to be cognizant of people's time, and I do experiences. So I don't have a class. I don't have, a session. Like, that's not how I vibe. We have an experience. So when you come into my yoga class, we drink cannabis tea. We start off with conversation, and we get into the movement, and we howl at the moon, we sing, we do partner yoga. So you're not just doing one style of yoga. Again, everything that I do is integrative, because I'm a gumbo. And so so you'll have all of these experiences in one yoga experience. And that actually segues into the concert that I'm having on the 22nd of February, because that's what that will be. That will be drumming. There will be a plant ceremony. There will just be this integrative, like I said, experience. So no, I don't have any classes, but I do have experiences.
Experience with Ashanti. That's awesome. I love it. I love it. That's a really great way to put it. Experience, yoga experience. Yeah. I kind of really feel what you're saying, because I'm a little bit similar when it comes to tarot and oracle decks, and how you play with tarot and how you mix everything. I also love doing it, and it's just so much fun. Yeah, this integrative way, something which I call like creative tarot, because like you break the rules basically, which, I love the traditional tarot, but you only learn traditional tarot to break out of traditional tarot. And I totally got what you said, like page, queen, king, like seriously, like not anymore. So and yeah, we need of new archetypes, and we're creating new archetypes, and we are more than like not obliged, but we should be creating new archetypes. We should be making new stories. The world changes, the times change, we change, and we create. So why not?
Yes.
So I think we are going to finish off slowly. And for the last question, I would love to ask you, Ashanti, about how do you use your deck? Obviously, we kind of could figure it out from the whole interview because we mentioned different ways, but maybe you want to share something like more personal, or some other, like some method or something, how you like to play with your cards, or cards in general.
I actually like making mandalas. And so what I'll do is I'll take my deck. I have a few decks that I work with. So I'll work with my deck, and I'll work with a traditional Pamela Coleman Smith deck. And I have a Brazilian deck. So I pull the Afro-Brazilian deck out. And I have the Vodun deck. And so I work with all 3 decks together, and Dream Awake is more of a clarifying experience for me. Because I created it, so a lot of it for me, I've already kind of programmed the symbolism and the meaning. And so I'll take these ambiguous tarot cards from other decks, and then I'll say, okay, well, let me clarify. And so I use Dream Awake Tarot as clarifying and confirmation. And I also again, work with the integration. So if I get one card from another deck, I'll say, okay, well, this card is the, you know, the feminine expression and the masculine expression, and this center card is how I bring that together. So, you know, I also just do one card per day, and then I'll take the card that I do in that one day and I'll find it in my day. And I love it when that happens because it's almost scary and freaky and creepy. But it's like I'll take the card and then I'll see it in my environment and I'll be like, is this really happening? You know, because you don't, this is like stepping into a scene of a movie, not so much like looking at a picture or a piece of a painting. It's like you're observing someone live and be. And so for me, it's about, okay, if they're living and being in here, I know I'm living and being out there. Or I'll take, you know, whatever I've named in my major arcana, my 22 cards, I'll take that and I'll pull the same card from 2 or 3 decks. And I'll look at their similarities. I'll look at how they blend together. And then I'll, again, integrate that into my surroundings and see it. And so it just helps me to lean into my intuition more and more and be able to see, like, I personally, and this is just my own belief system, I personally feel like our angels, our ancestors, our spirit guides, our totems, and all benevolent beings who support our journey here on this planet are constantly in communication with us. But if we're in our phones, or we are, you know, on our computers, or we're just otherwise in our minds dancing around with countless thoughts, we're missing the messages. And so that's what tarot helps with, is for us to, you know, slow down enough to read, you know, how you just picked up your tea, right? You know how some tea little things will have a little affirmation or a message. The same, slow down enough to read that, you know? See how a passage that you read from the book while you were on the toilet relates to a conversation that you had with your homegirl the same evening. And look for those patterns that show up in your day, because they happen all the time. I guarantee you they do. But if we're not slow enough to witness that, because again, like, life is a movie. And so if you can slow down to each and every frame, you get to see the details. Yeah. It's like, it's lucid dreaming. That's the invitation, is to lucid dream. When I lucid dream, I look for every single detail in that setting. And then that helps me to be like, hold up, it's a kangaroo right here and a giraffe right here. Like, I'm dreaming. So the same thing here. Let's continue to just slow down our presence, slow down our breath, relax our shoulders, be present, and witness the miracles happening all the time. All the time. The game is rigged. That is my motto. The game of life is rigged, and it's rigged for our success, but we have to see it. We have to have the eyes to see it. If not, we're just going to continue to see calamity and worry and pain and fear, because we're not thinking as the expansive, limitless beings that we truly are.
Yeah. I have this motto, which you mentioned before: do less and be more. I like that. I wrote it down. This is going to be my motto for the next however long. Do less, be more. So I think we're going to end on that amazing creative note. Do less, people, and be more. Thank you so much, Ashanti, for being my guest. It was a true pleasure. Thanks for creating this awesome deck. And yeah, you guys will find all the information about Ashanti, her work, her tarot, her courses in the description box below. And well, let's move on and create, right? And enjoy life. And as you said, you're right, like, slow down to actually see the detail and how beautiful life can be if we choose to, and if we expand our vision a little bit. So thank you so much, my friend. It was lovely to have you. And I'm going to say goodbye right now. So bye. Bye.
Thank you.
See you, Ashanti. Bye.